Ugh, wait, let's take a fat sip of water. Ah. Welcome to the most epic music channel you have ever seen. Monster Cat? Pff, nothing. Virtual Riot? Pff, nothing. Dubstep Gutter? Amateurs, I say. This is Fingle's music stuff. The real pinnacle of music YouTube content. Right here. Right now. We're going to listen to some songs and then complain about them. That is pretty much the gist of this channel. Let's get it started. So who am I? My name is Fingal. I was once a music producer. I can't really say that because I kind of sucked. But I attempted to make music, and I have some experience in sound design, mastering tracks, and all this fancy music production stuff. So I have a bit of extra knowledge on songs that the normal person might not have. So I hope to share some of that knowledge with all you guys to make you smarter and more intelligent music listeners. We're going to start with this song called Riot, Overkill by Riot. I'm actually not going to complain about this song. I have nothing but praise to say about this song. Okay, I do have a little gripe with the second drop, but we'll get there when it comes. So let's just begin, and then I'll make some random snide comments throughout the song, and then you can enjoy or not enjoy. I don't know. Do whatever you want. Okay, we got a nice little ARP here. I love the ambience in the background. Ooh. It makes me quiver to the tips of my toes. The robot voice, ooh, in the beginning, I love it. I loved it a lot. The effects that they got. And you can hear some really nice vocal layers coming in through this continued intro area part thingy. And then here's where we get the first taste of our guitar, of our metal feel. This song is a metal EDM hybrid, and that's, I think, why it's so good and I love it so much. Because I love metal and, oh, I don't really like metal as much, but I like EDM and I play guitar. So what I believe he did for this metal-y part was he actually got live drums, because these drums sound absolutely fantastic. And this is, we're getting into the building of tension up to the drop. You can tell it's gone from the calm ARP to a metal drivey build part. Building tension, building tension. Kill them all. What I love about this build, which not a lot of people do, is you hear the vocals actually go down there while the guitar goes up, so it almost fades out. And this drop is fantastic. It's repetitive, but just varied enough to keep it interesting. It has a great balance between rhythmy, eighth note growls and melodic bits that I love. And you see how the feeling kind of changes here, or the patterns change here and there. It's great. Very interesting screechy growl there. That it's very rhythmy, very hard. I love this drop. It's fantastic. And here we drop into a nice middle ground between heavy drop and the calm intro. It's a nice melodic area. It gives you a little break from the heaviness, but still keeps the energy flowing. And then the song just drops out, which is an interesting choice. And this section really intrigues me, and I don't know why Riot decided to do this, but he kind of goes up and down, builds tension, and drops. You'll see it in a second. So here he's building in a little bit of a kind of a clean, non-EDM-y metal area. And then he builds it farther, he progresses it a little bit. And he drops it again here. to build the drop up, which I find really interesting. And then we get the EDM aspects coming with the metal aspects. And then it drops down for a third time, which is really interesting. I'm not sure exactly why he did this, but it's a really interesting way to progress from metal to EDM metal fusion and then up to the drop. Here's the build. Same pretty much as the first build. And this is my one issue with the whole strong. This second drop, I don't know. It's a little too hardstyle for me. But I mean, it's good still. You got the little trap chance. I feel like I could do the vocals for this. It's pretty much the same as the first drop, except for that first hard part. I don't really have anything else to say about it. And then it just, boom, it just ends. Those are my first impressions of Overkill by Riot. Okay, those are actually probably my 5th, 6th, 7th impressions because I've listened to this song probably 100 times in the last 2 weeks. So I'd like to go back and kind of talk about some interesting aspects and explain some things that the normal listener wouldn't really pick up on. So one thing that I love about what Monstercat does with their videos is that they don't use a frequency, what are they called? Frequency graphs? Frequency chart? They don't use this frequency chart in the circular way that most places like Dubstep Gutter and Trap Nation do, and pretty much every other small music channel ever does it. That annoys me because it doesn't show you a lot of information about the music and what you're hearing. But what Monstercat does is they just use a flat, simple spectrograph. So it allows you to see what you're hearing. So here's a little intro into how these work. So pretty much for the first third, it goes from left to right, from low frequencies to high frequencies. So your low frequencies are going to be your bass, your sub bass will be at the bottom, but you got the kick transient normally in the lows, and then moving up from that, you have your basses in the low mids, you have your snare transient, and then in the mid to high mids, you have your main leads, your saw waves, I think, and the wows. See how when the saw waves wows come in, you can kind of see the mid to highs have a little bit of a wave to them. See that in the highs? It's a little muddy in the mids, you can't really see it because it's not loud. But in the highs, you can definitely see it. And then the highs, you get your hi-hats and your tingly bits, as I like to call them, or ambiance, like rain sounds are normally mid-highs. A lot of ambiances, highs. Now, a really hard thing is to fill, though, that high section with things, and that's what ambiance is. Ambiance tries to fill out the spectrum and make it so you're not hearing holes, because people can hear those holes even if they don't really know what they're hearing. So if you feel like a song is empty, it's very likely that the person did not fill out the full spectrum with sounds. So here you can see the hi-hats. Whenever the hi-hat goes tss, 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 you see the far right side of the spectrograph go up. You see that? So that's how to read a spectrograph. Spectrometer, thermometer. That's how you read a thermometer, right there. So last but not least, I'd like to go through this last metal section, and talk about what I think that Riot is trying to do with this strange wavy area. So right after the first drop, it drops down into this nice combo, as I said before, of some EDM aspects and metal aspects. So after that, it drops down to this part with only the EDM ARP. And then you see that the ARP drops out here and it just goes only metal. So I think he's trying to make a distinction here between the EDM aspect of the song and the metal aspect. He's trying to let the electronic or the metal aspect shine here. And then when it drops down for the second time, we start hearing the EDM aspects come back in. And it's a really cool progression. You get the nice vocal chops. And these are really round vocal chops that really offset the harder, grimier sounds of the metal. And then you have the nice overkill in the background that gives it more fullness. Now that he's established that we got the metal and then we got the metal plus EDM, he's ready to go into a build to a bigger drop. And I think this is all progressing the song along and then ending in this crescendo, which is the final drop. So that's all I have to say about Riot's Overkill. This song is absolutely fantastic. I thank you so much for watching. If you have any suggestions for future songs that you want me to take a look at, questions that you have about music production, or anything, just hit them in the comments below. I'll answer all your questions, and I will, I mean, this is my first video. I'm likely going to get like one suggestion, so I'll pretty much 100% review your song and gotta tell you what I think about it and how I like it.